To be a Redemptorist today means to be a witness of the Redeemer in the broken and wounded world in which we are actually living. As Redemptorist missionaries, through our closeness to people, especially the poor and the abandoned, and our commitment to Jesus Christ, we become instruments and means of healing, forgiveness, unity, and peace, working for justice and proclaiming the good news of hope and plentiful redemption. This is what it means to be a Redemptorist, to be a witness to Jesus in a wounded world.
2020 has certainly been a very extraordinary year for all of us. Little did we know as we began this year what lay ahead with the worldwide pandemic, the coronavirus. It's impacted upon all of us. And it certainly has impacted upon us Redemptorists and what it means to be, I think, a Redemptorist in our world of today. All of us have stories to tell about the impact of the virus on our society, on our friends, and on our families. It certainly impacted seriously on Redemptorists. We discovered new ways of reaching out to people, particularly through webcams, continued our celebration of Eucharists. We found new ways through social media to reach out to people. And I think this is what it has meant to be a Redemptorist this year. It's to be a source of hope to people in the midst of this very difficult time.
If I had been asked to say what does it mean to be a Redemptorist in 2019, my answer would have been completely different. Obviously, with the impact of the COVID pandemic right throughout the world, we, like everybody else, have been forced to reassess our lives, to live differently, and yet to find new ways of reaching out to people to bring our mission, our preaching of plentiful redemption to a very wounded world. And I think that was theme of our last general chapter, and it has become extremely important as we look at what's going on at the moment.
I'm 60 years professed Redemptorist this year, and I'm thanking God for those years. And what would my message of be to people today? The St. Alphonsus motto, which he gave to us Redemptorists, is "With him is plentiful redemption." Inexhaustible awareness of his goodness and mercy and forgiveness. Above all, of he being present, of he being with each one of us and in the world today. I would hope as a Redemptorist, and for myself and for the whole group, that today we would be messengers of plentiful hope.
I think that question really is kind of very, very profound at the moment, and the answer has to be very profound at the moment because life has changed so strangely, you might say, so immensely in a sense with the coronavirus. The whole world has changed. There has to be a new normal, as we're saying, you know. And the way I'm seeing things is that we have to maybe, as a congregation, I'm 86 years old, and I still want to think and want to continue on as a Redemptorist, want to be active as a Redemptorist, and want to, in a sense, continue my mission as a Redemptorist in whatever way. But I think we have to think out very deeply what we can do. And I think we have to do that together.
Persevering in prayer. We here in Dundalk have plenty of time and opportunity for prayer. We have the Blessed Sacrament under our roof. We have the church at our doorstep. We can have Mass practically any time, and Holy Communion. We can have the Sacrament of Reconciliation anytime we need, anytime we desire it. We can visit the Blessed Sacrament. We can have our daily morning and evening prayer in the community, the Divine Office, and each one is asked to do some meditation, and I try it morning and evening. For me, that meditation time is very, very special.
To be a Redemptorist is to be missionary, whether at the founding of the congregation in 1732 or today in 2020. The Redemptorist identity is linked with mission. It always has and it always will. In 2020, the year of the global pandemic, people are fearful of the transmission of a deadly virus. As Redemptorists, we must discover new ways to transmit a message of hope in a time of fear. The Redemptorist constitutions remind us to be attentive to the signs of the times. COVID-19 has shown us the frailty of the human body, but more importantly, it has shown us the capacity to be strengthened by our connectedness. Social distancing does not and should not become a barrier to connection. In 2020, being a Redemptorist means doing everything that I can to stay connected to the young people that I'm privileged to encounter every day in my ministry here in Cork.
What does it mean for me to be a Redemptorist? I suppose I wish I could answer that question in one easy sentence. I can't, because being a Redemptorist has been going on in my life now for over 50 years, and it's taken a lot of time to get used to the various twists and turns in it. If you want, one of the things that is probably very important in it for me is the brotherhood of community. I'm dealing with other Redemptorists, sometimes very easy to get on with, sometimes perhaps driving one another mad, but I'm grateful to them for the care that they have shown me when I'm not so well. For a lot of my life I've been very blessed in having good health. For the last couple of years, that health has been a bit jittery, and I have not been doing as well as I could. But what I'm very grateful for is the way in which so many Redemptorist brothers have taken care of me and helped me to live like that, and also to share that life with them, that life of prayer and brotherhood, that is part and parcel of living the gospel of Jesus Christ as well as we can.
Dear Rich, I'm here in the Redemptorist House in Griffith Avenue in Dublin, and I've just finished celebrating Mass, Oscoilga, for people who can't go out to church. So not only is it addressed to and being said for people a foot in the chair in the Gaeltachtaí, a foot in the chair, but anybody else who is interested, and many people join us for Mass every day.
Greetings and blessings to you. I've been a Redemptorist for the past 66 years. But the last time I decided to be a Redemptorist was this morning. That's why I got up. In some sense this morning, the Lord touched my elbow and he said, "Paul, I have some surprises for you today." As I tried to come to my senses, I remember the phrase of a psalm which says, "In the morning I fill you with my love." So that sort of gets me going for the day. And I say to the Lord, God, I thank you for the wonder of my being and the miracle of your presence in me.
What does it mean to be a Redemptorist today? There are two words that come to mind for me. One is privilege and the other is blessing. I think a Redemptorist today is somebody who is privileged to be part of the family of St. Alphonsus Liguori. A family that has been founded and moulded in the understanding of outreach to those who are most abandoned and most in need. And then being somehow able to recognize our own brokenness, and through recognition of our own brokenness, to be able to be with people as they find themselves maybe falling between the cracks in the story of their lives, needing somebody to respectfully listen to them. And blessed because there is a wonderful family that surrounds us, who care for us, who make sure that we are on the right path and keep us on that right path and wrap us in love and blessing every day.
53 years ago, I joined the Redemptorists and spent 6 years in the Philippine Islands, 36 years, I think, in Ireland, and 10 years in the United States. So, what do I think is at the heart of being a Redemptorist? I love that scene in the Gospel of John where Jesus' friend Lazarus comes forth from his tomb, and Jesus says to the people around, "Unbind him, let him go free." And I think that's part of our call. to unbind people of whatever is weighing them down, whatever has them tied up, and let them go free and encourage them to go free. And there's another image that comes to my mind, and that is that we Redemptorists are, would you believe, midwives. That part of our calling is, by God's grace, to invite people to give birth to their truest nature, to what's deepest and truest within them, and to encourage them to live out of that nature. So we don't bring God to other people. We Redemptorists go with the confidence that we'll find God in them, and we encourage them then to live out of the God's presence within them.
The theme used for our online novenas this year was hope in a time of crisis. And I certainly hope that that is what we have been to people during this year. Signs of hope, a constant reminder to them that God has not deserted us in the midst of this crisis, and that we will get through it and over it. And we hope that we continue to be that sign to people in our country today.